Live from Detroit, it's the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast with your hosts, Dane Williams, Junko Bodie, and Bob Danielli. If you're looking for the best present to take to your mother-in-law's birthday party, you're in the wrong place, dude. We talk Michigan sports here. It's real, it's raw, and there are no punches pulled. What happens when you put a gambler, a rocket scientist, and a radio jock in the same room? Well, we're all about to find out, and it probably won't be pretty. But whatever happens, it will be lively. So grab a brew, sit yourself in your favorite rocker, and take notes. If you're some kind of nutcase, the boys are back in town and talking about the stuff that matters, Motown sports. So let's get to it, people. Here is the host of today's show, Rockin' Robert Danielli.
Well, hey, everybody. How y'all doing? This is the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast, the Detroit Lions edition. I'm your host, Bob Danielli, here with my lifelong buddies, Dane Williams and Junko Bodie. Hey, guys. Beautiful Thanksgiving, right?
Hey there,
Great
Robert.
food and family, right? Well,
it was.
And then we had to sit down and watch the Lions. Now, lately, this game has been kind of anticipated on, right? Not like years past where we had the Lions were, they were going to lose this one anyway. This was actually realistically anticipated, although I will tell you the reality is much different. They've only won 2 of these games in the last 10 years. So, I mean, you talk about tradition, the Lions losing on Thanksgiving is kind of a regrettable tradition, right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
the Lions lose to the Packers 31-24 at Ford Field in another game where you wonder, geez, what else can go wrong? What other mistakes can they make? What other injuries can bite the Lions this season? Just to give you an example, I think the big thing was when Green Bay needed a big play to continue on, they got it. And when the Lions needed a stop, they couldn't get it. Green Bay was 6 for 12 on third downs and 3 for 3 on fourth downs. The numbers, though, were not so different. Packers had 359 yards of total offense to the Lions, 352. Number of plays ran by both teams were 60. They were even there. Jared Goff was 20 of 26, 256 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, 7 receptions, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. But Jordan Love, 18 for 34, 234 yards, and gentlemen, 4 touchdowns. So we've been around the block a few times. We've seen and survived the SOL Lions all those years ago. Those teams were experts at snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This season, it
from
seems
the jaws of victory.
Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
I wish you were the other way around.
Thank you. There seems to be a reversion to those dark days. Key drops, coaching strategy mistakes, and defenses that just can't get off the field or hold a lead. Junko, were you saying, I've seen this movie before?
I sure was, Bob. I think SOL kind of like if you're a Lions fan, you can't help but flash back to what you referred to as those dark days, right?
Right.
Hey, let's be honest. Green Bay is a good team,
Mm-hmm.
and we knew that they were a good team coming in. But again, we were the favorite, and last year these were the games that Detroit won. They won these big games. We didn't lose games at home last year.
Right.
And it didn't really come down to how well the team played so much as it was just key mistakes at key moments.
Right.
A coaching blunder here, a drop pass there, penalty over here, a penalty on an important drive, a missed tackle, or just giving up a first down on 3rd and long. How many times did that happen? Like you said, we've seen this all before. Dane?
We have, and Robert pointed out some statistics there. And actually, when you look at the statistics and the score, I mean, the game was actually pretty even, but it felt strange because we were behind the whole time. We were always trying to play catch up. We'd catch up, and then they would score again. And that's why I think, to me especially, it was like, just didn't feel right the whole game. Even though the score was fairly close, statistically we were very close. But you're right, the injuries, we're probably going to talk about one significant injury here that may hurt us for the next couple of games.
Right. But that's
St.
2
Brown.
weeks in a row. That's 2 weeks in a row where the defense has let us down. What's the difference between this unit and last year's unit, and how much is that on Kelvin Shepard? There's a lack of discipline there, some confusion on defense, 10 men on the field for one play, on a third down play, no less, and then a too many men on the field penalty as well. So, Junko, where are we at with this defense?
Well, it's kind of funny how much the Lions and the Wolverines mirror each other in their games sometimes. Like this past week, what was the big problem? The Lions couldn't get any pressure on the quarterback. Does that sound familiar? Right?
Sure.
Yeah. So at the trade deadline, the Packers go out, they acquire
Parsons.
acquire Parsons, right? How big an impact did that have on their team, right?
Huge.
How much of an impact did that have in this game?
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Holmes and Campbell messed up the roster on this team a little bit in the offseason and during at the trade deadline. There were opportunities to go and get Hutch some help. I rewatched that game. Hutch was double or triple teamed 18 times in this game.
Wow.
And you know why they can do that? Because they don't have to worry about anybody else.
Correct.
And that's a roster problem. That's not a player problem. And the Lions did other things wrong. I mean, they allowed Jordan Love to escape the pocket. I don't know on how many occasions. And our defensive backs just aren't good enough to cover for long stretches of time. I mean, let's be honest.
We're very thin.
Yeah. I know. That's it.
Yeah, Dane, 4 sacks in the last 4 games. That's not good enough, is it?
It really isn't. And if you look at statistically, if you look at like rush yards per game, last year it was 104. This year is, it's 104 for this year and 98 for last year. So I mean, it's pretty close. And when you look at passing yards per game for this year's 212 versus last year's 244. So it's actually worse last year. So, and I know we had a lot of injuries last year too. So I don't see it as a big difference in how our defense is playing, although Junko was right, especially with the Packers. We weren't able to get pressure. And here lately, we haven't been able to get pressure on the quarterback, which is hurting us. But I think as we're going to talk about next, I think it's more the offense than really than the defense collapsing from last year. I think it's more the offense is not playing up like it should be.
Well, I don't know.
It did last year.
The D gave up 31 points. That had a lot to do with it, but our offense wasn't exactly running on all cylinders, were they? Pack tried to take away the running game, and for the most part, they succeeded. And we had nobody to make them pay for the passing game. So let's break it down a little bit. No tight ends with Laporta and Brock Wright both out. St. Brown was out. Jamo, we had to rely on him, and he had some real key drops. Tom Kennedy, we picked up off the practice squad, and Isaac Tesla had another touchdown. Right. So, I mean, but we're going down the line here. We're at 4th string. So Junko, where are we at on offense?
Well, on offense, it all comes down to that key number of 27 points again, right? And the Lions didn't get there again. I mean, I look at last year's team and this year's team. You can't help but compare those two teams, right? And last year, 27 was a easy metric for Detroit. This year, they seem to be struggling to get back to that, and some of that is complementary football, and some of it is really just on the offense itself. We're not doing anything really well, maybe besides Jahmyr Gibbs' performance, right? Our offensive line's not blocking as well as they have in the past. They're certainly not pass blocking as well as they have. Without Laporta, we have virtually a non-existent tight end game. And now we're down St. Brown too. And he was getting too many balls thrown to him anyway. Right? And now he's down. Well, again, this talks about the overuse of certain guys and the potential for injury when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has a lot to do with what's going on, is that they just haven't been able to click on offense. And I will say one other thing about the offense is I think the blueprint on Jared Goff is kind of out there now.
Sure.
Is that he's not good under pressure. You get in his proximity, and he short arms the ball. And we saw that happen a number of times again this week.
But that may have always been there, but at least we had an offensive line to protect him.
Yeah.
This year,
I mean, if you want to narrow it down to what the problem with the Lions are on offense, you could probably just say it's the offensive line.
Sure. Yeah. Dane, no holes to run through, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I think St. Brown, I don't think that was an overuse injury, right? I think he got rolled on, and that's what took down his ankle. So that took him out of it. But you're right, he's still getting a lot of balls. Williams, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, offensive coordinator said, "Hey, we're just not using Williams like we should." Well, now you're going to have to use him.
Right.
He had 144 yards and 1 TD and
Right.
7 receptions. It was a good game, really good game
Sure.
for Williams. But
Yeah.
Goff, you're right. I mean, just inconsistent. Any pressure on him, he likes either, he's going to throw it away real quick, or he's going to tuck it and just take the sack, right? And that hurts. So, the offense now without, at some point, like with Michigan, at some point the injuries are going to matter, and when
I think we're at that
you
point.
you just cannot,
now, yeah.
avoid it. So.
Yeah.
I actually boiled it down, though. I think the Packers game, I boiled it down to 2 things. 4th down efficiency. They were 3 for 3. We were 0 for 2. And Campbell and he even admitted, I listened to his a podcast that he was on, and he even admitted, I hated that call that I made it, whatever was the 45 or something. He said, I hated that call. I should have never done that. But the other thing is sacks.
Right.
They sacked Goff 3 times for 23-yard loss. And when you're talking about not only the yards lost, right, the loss of the down there, and we had zero sacks. So I see those 2, when the game was this close, I see those 2 as very pivotal.
I think you're right. Junko brought it up in the beginning where in that 4th quarter, I mean, Micah Parsons clamped down. He, that's what they got him for, right? He came up with 2.5 sacks in the 4th quarter of Goff. And all they had was JMO, because they certainly stopped the run. And then given the way that the Lions are losing games, I mean, we've got bad decisions, poor game planning, and it's probably fair to question the coaching, as we're doing right now. But is it the players not performing, or is it the coaching staff on both sides of the ball not putting this team in the best position to win? And here we can talk about Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, John Morton, throw it all together. Junko, take it away.
Well, I think, again, I'm glad you brought up Brad Holmes, because, again, Rashawn Gary's on one side. Now you got Micah Parsons on the other side. Who do you block?
Right.
Smart. That's good GM work right there by the Packers, and that's why they are where they are right now. And Campbell, he's got to be smarter. I like the aggressive Dan Campbell. I like the physical Dan Campbell. But you got to be smarter as a coach sometimes. Just because you can go for it doesn't mean you should. And when you're in a tight game, or you're not well past the 50, you should be putting there should be a premium on those possessions and that field position, and that he just doesn't seem to value. And that has to change, because he's costing them games now. And also, when you're building your team, you got to account for a certain amount of injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at our offensive line. Yes, we lost Ragnow at the before the season started, and that was a surprise. And we have had the injury at right guard, but we still have 3 of our 5 starters out there. And so, those 2 other positions should have been filled by NFL caliber players, and for some reason, we don't seem to have been able to do that. Again, that's kind of on the GM and the coaching staff. Here's the bad news, though. The bad news is that the trade deadline is passed, and it's too late in the season to make a trade or do anything to fix the team. The team is the team now. This is what we got. And now he's got to figure out a way to fix it from here. I'm not sure he can.
Yeah. Well, I loved all the optimism when the word came out that Frank Ragnow was coming back. Well, not so fast.
Right.
So he failed his physical, and he will not be coming back. But really, how much help was he going to be if he couldn't
Right.
start? If we probably have 5 games where we need to win at least 4 to get in the playoffs, because right now we're on the outside looking in, and we have to find a way to win. So there's
some key games in there
oh
too.
yeah,
Bob.
yeah. So there's
Right.
no sympathy. This game coming up with the Cowboys, who have a tendency of kind of ending Lions' dreams. They come to town Thursday in a mini role of having won. What have they won 3 in a row? 2 in a row?
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Yeah,
3 in a
3
row. But the last 2 Super Bowl contestants, they beat the Chiefs. They beat the
and
Eagles.
the Eagles. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Who are both slumping now a little.
Yeah,
but
So this is a must-win game. I mean, if there ever was one, we're talking about this, and the schedule can be brutal. Both teams are currently, Dallas is also on the outside looking into this playoff picture. So got to find a way to do it. So let's preview this game, Mo. So Dane, what do you think the key to the Cowboys offense against the Lions defense is going to be?
When you listen statistically, I mean, I think Dak could have a field day against our secondary.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of really, really good receivers out there, and I think they'll take advantage of that. And statistically, when you look at it, I mean, their passing yards are 280 a game. That's first in the league. Points, they're at 29.3, which is second in the league, I believe, or something like that. But the our defense, is down there a little bit. Pass, they're 19th in the league. Rush, they're 11th in the league, and then points allowed, they're 15th in the league. So not only comparing the Cowboy offense and our defense, but even the other way, Detroit's offense and the Cowboy defense. Because you look at the Cowboy defense, it hasn't been real good, although they did make a couple moves, like we were talking about the trade. They did make a couple moves during the trade to shore that up, and it's paying some dividends. Plus, they got a couple of guys off their IR, which is paying dividends for them. So when I first looked at the statistics, I said, well, this looks like, offense against a bad defense and, an offense against a bad defense. But I don't know. Cowboys defense has been really improved over the last few games. So we'll see that.
Hey, Junko, it does seem like the Cowboys defense is getting better every week. So what do you see for that Lions offense going against the Cowboys defense?
Well, they're still in the bottom half of the league defensively overall.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right. And they don't have Micah Parsons, so they're worse off for that. I don't know. I look at the Lions. The Lions stop themselves. It's not going to. The Cowboys at Ford Field are not going to shut down the Lions unless the Lions let them.
Okay.
And I think this is a game where the Detroit needs to go out and put up 30 plus points, and they should against this defense. And so we'll just see how it plays out. But I'm not afraid of the Cowboy defense by any stretch.
Okay.
No, they're
right.
like they're last in the league in points allowed and passing yards. But the thing is, where are the offensive weapons for Detroit that are going to take us there? I mean, St. Brown's probably going to be out.
Pretty much. I get it. Laporta's out. And
Wright's
St.
out.
Brown
Laporta's out. I mean, so we're just on to Gibbs out of the backfield.
What's the name of this
Williams.
league, Dane? This is called the NFL.
Next man up.
Next man up, not for long, baby.
Yeah.
You're either an NFL player or you're not, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's time for our guys to step up and make some plays. I thought Kennedy played well last week.
Yeah,
and,
Kennedy did.
And Tesla, he was a high draft choice for us. J-Mo is a burner,
right?
I think Wright is hurt too now, right?
He's hurt.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So now we're down to number 3 tight end.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think we might be down to number 4.
Some interesting stats on St. Brown. So when he's in the game, we're number 1 for yards per play. Without St. Brown, we're 25th. We're
Really?
number 2 in offensive efficiency with him in the game. We're 16th without him. So he is a huge part of that. That's why I was saying we need some other offensive weapons to step up here, because with St. Brown out. And
I'm leaving on
Goff's
vacation tomorrow. I did not need to know
favorite.
that. I did not want to know that.
Yeah, well, I think Goff needs some safety valves short. He can't always throw a long ball to JMO, and that's where St. Brown was important.
Yeah.
He was the
Yeah.
guy to go up
Yeah.
the middle. He was fearless, and he's going to be out. I mean, the best optimistic hope would be 2 weeks, and that's jury's still out on that.
Yeah.
Boy, how do you see that that Cowboy offense, Junko, going up against the Lions defense?
You know, I'm in the camp that Prescott is a has-been,
Huh.
right? That's where I'm at, and I think he's the type of guy that if you could just keep him in the pocket and pressure him,
Mm-hmm.
which the Lions don't do well, unfortunately, you can
Yeah.
you can contain the Cowboys. They've got 2 really good receivers,
Yeah, they do.
Pickens and CeeDee Lamb,
CD Lamb.
right?
CeeDee
Outside
Lamb.
of that, their running back's pedestrian. Their offensive line is average. Again, this is a game where our defensive coordinator's got to scheme up something to get some pressure on Prescott. That's to me, that's the key to the game for Detroit.
Well, Pickens has gotten at least 75 yards of offense in the last 7 games. He's averaged 75 yards per game. So
Shut him down.
it seems like Prescott's rejuvenated. I was ready to write off Dak Prescott as well, Junko, but he seems to be rejuvenated after that Thanksgiving game. So we'll see. How about we go through some 3 keys to the game? Dane, why don't you start us off? 3 keys for both teams to win. Hit me with the Lions first.
Lions keys to win, like you said, that got to find that other offensive weapon or weapons that's going to help Goff out. Pass protect Goff, and I think against the Dallas defense, we should be able to do that. And then, like I say, every game, I think our strength is really our running game. I think, and we got to get Gibbs going in that running game, and Montgomery. Those 2 need to be a true duo. Double hit in the gut to Dallas, I think, for us to win. And then Dallas, I would say Dallas, they need to protect Dak to give him time to throw. I think their receivers are probably going to have a pretty darn good game. I do see them scoring quite a few points against us. And then I think maybe their defense has to find a way. Probably they might not be able to stop the run game, but at least with our offensive weapons out, I can see them double teaming Williams and making a tough day for Goff.
Yeah.
I think would be their plan.
Junko, give me some keys to the game for both Lions and Cowboys.
For Detroit, they got to run the ball.
Uh-huh.
First of all. Second, they got to control the clock. They've got to be in control of the line of scrimmage. And the third thing they've got to do is keep Dak Prescott in the pocket and pressure him.
Wow.
They do those 3 things, they'll win.
Those are the
Dallas,
3 I had, by the way.
Yeah, is that right?
Really?
Yeah. The Dallas, they got to establish the passing game. They've got to get that going early. They've got to pressure Goff and make him, the bad Goff, as we like to refer to him. And then they need to stop Detroit's running game, like Dane said. I agree with that.
Okay.
If they're going to beat Detroit, they're going to have to stop the run.
Same. I also put the Cowboys have to score first. If they score first, the Lions have been playing from behind these last few games and have not really had a successful time of it.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at some predictions here. Thursday Night Football at Ford Field. This is the 3rd home game in a row. That's rare for the Lions. The Lions are a 3.5-point favorite with an over-under of 54.5 points. So the Cowboys at 6-5-1 and the Lions at 7-5. Junko, give me your prediction.
Well, I didn't actually see the over-under until you just said it.
Mm-hmm.
And you said 54.5.
Mm-hmm.
I got 55 points total in this game, which is kind of crazy. I've got Detroit 31, Dallas 24.
Ooh.
And I think Detroit needs to score, I think 31, more than the 27. I think that gets it done.
Dane?
Well, I've got Junko's magic number. I got Lions 27 and the Cowboys 24.
Wow. I got to tell you, this might be the first time that you guys pick a Lions victory, and I'm picking a loss.
They're due to win.
I know. And I just see there's too many guys out. There are too many guys out. We are so thin. So I actually see the Cowboys 30, Lions 27. So I'm in step with Junko's 27 theory.
All I know is if the Cowboys score 30 points on us, I'm jumping off the boat. That's all.
Okay.
Oh boy, you've got to find a way to watch that game, though, don't you?
I do. I've got to. This is going to be a challenging week sports-wise. 2 weeks for me sports-wise.
Yeah. All right, folks. Are you in the mood for some Lions trivia?
Yes.
Actually,
sir.
this is more Cowboys trivia. Let's put it that way. So, and it's real simple. There's been plenty of quarterbacks that have faced the Cowboys over the years, but one quarterback in particular has never lost a game against, and this is more than just one game, okay? So one quarterback has never lost a game against the Dallas Cowboys, and I will give you a choice. Now, these are veteran quarterbacks, so we're not talking about a one-and-done kind of guy.
Yeah.
Is it Eli Manning, Tom Brady, Sonny Jurgensen, or Aaron Rodgers? Which one of those guys has never lost to the Dallas Cowboys?
Wow.
Pretty good, eh?
Yeah, that's a good one, Bob. I'm going to go, because of the Washington-Dallas rivalry, I'm going to say Sonny Jurgensen.
I was thinking the same thing, and I was going to say Sonny. Yeah.
I had to throw in an old school guy, so I came up with Sonny Jurgensen. All these quarterbacks have winning records, but Tom Brady has never lost against. He's got a 7-0 record against the Dallas Cowboys.
Maybe we can get him to come out of retirement for Detroit.
You know who has the most wins against the Cowboys in their career? Eli Manning. 13 victories.
Wow.
And so now you know. All right. Yeah. Let's wrap this thing up because Junko's got to go. He'll be out for a couple weeks. So thanks for listening, folks. And if you like what you hear, please smack that like button. It helps other folks find us. And if you're listening or wherever you're listening, the best viewing experience will be on YouTube. So go on YouTube, put in the search bar, the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast, and there we will be. Please like and subscribe, and you'll get notified when new episodes come out. This podcast is part of Junko Bodie Productions and an exclusive production of the Lowdown on Motown Sports Network. Thanks again for listening. We will see you all on the next Lowdown on Motown Sports. See you guys.
Junko, remember to take your life preserver in case you jump ship.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast. If you're liking what you're hearing, then why don't you do us a solid and rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show. And, we're pretty awesome, so why not share the awesomeness? We appreciate it. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast.